What's up, everybody? It is Split Decision MMA, your home for MMA news and fighter reviews and recaps.
As you can tell, Joey's not here today.
Joey's not here today. Things are going to be a little bit different, a little slower.
So Dennis and Dodge on the mic.
Coming to you live from the Roulade Family Inc. studios. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Make sure you go over to Instagram and Twitter. Follow us at SD_MMA. Check out our Facebook at Split Decision MMA Podcast. And, of course, you can always get us on our website, splitdecisionmma.com, and now on mymmanews.com.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, check out our latest sponsor, strongboardbalance.com. Change the way you work out forever. Get on board. That's strongboardbalance.com. strongboardbalance.com.
So we got a bunch of news to talk about. Things are going on in the MMA world, as well as recapping the Ultimate Fight Night that happened last week. And then we happened to miss the Ultimate Fighter, our recap. We talked about it off air, but for some reason didn't hit that record button.
I think that's from now on. I don't think we need to talk to each other when we get in the studio.
Because we just talk about it and not talk about it.
Yeah, right.
We need to get that whiteboard.
Yeah, I don't think it would have helped us.
We need that whiteboard.
I don't think it would have helped us.
As well as peek into UFC 188, which is going down tomorrow on pay-per-view from Mexico.
Yeah, and I thought I was fanning out about the 188, but now you got a picture of BattleBots.
Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued.
Going into the news, we got BattleBots is coming back. Do you remember BattleBots? You started on like Comedy Central.
Yeah.
You got the geeky robot people building shit and like destroying each other.
Well, that's how a lot of stuff started. Remember, it was on no name networks. And then,
it's like sci-fi.
Yeah, and then the big networks were like, "Hey, man, people are paying attention to this.
They're making money. We need it." Exactly. So BattleBots is coming back to ABC, and Kenny Florian is now going to move over as a play-by-play commentator.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for the MMA segue, how this fit into MMA.
Play-by-play. So is he going to be like, and he's going for an arm drag. Like, I don't know.
Look at the servos on that guy.
A lot of hammer fisting with an actual hammer is going on with this robot.
I hope that's hydraulic fluid.
Yeah.
I hope that's hydraulic
so
fluid.
I'm interested to see how, A, long this lasts, and B, how well Kenny Florian does talking about robots. Other than fighting, does he have any experience with robots? Do we know?
I don't know. He probably has a robot cut his hair. I mean, it's like laser precision.
So maybe go check out, I guess it starts Sunday, June 21st, 8 Central. You got BattleBots coming to ABC with Kenny Florian.
I wonder if he brings any other MMA or UFC people with him.
Just like every now and then as
you
a
get
guest.
Chuck Liddell.
Do you really want to hear Chuck Liddell talk about robots?
Throwing batteries at the robots.
Yeah, those Durlast batteries that he's got going on. Is it Durlast, right?
Yeah.
Where he walks through stuff. Ronda Rousey, speaking about batteries, has a car. Look at that transition, Joey.
Transition. Where you at?
Ronda Rousey decided to sell her 2005 Honda Accord LX, 156,000 miles. It sold on eBay for a whopping $21,000, which is about the price of a new one.
That's crazy. And it comes with a little Terrell Powell doll.
Yeah, sitting in the back seat. Is that the back seat?
I don't know what it is.
She says, this is the car she famously slept in for a long time after winning the Olympic judo medal in the 2008 Olympic Games. It's going to come with a Tamagotchi, some stickers, and she's even going to sign the dash. She used to call this car the Fonda. I don't get that. But anyway, she wrote on her car, the Fonda will always have a special place in my heart. I love it very much. You never broke down. You hung in there when I couldn't afford to change your oil. Could always depend on you. I love you. Enjoy your retirement. And then signed it. So some lucky fan got it. The only thing she's worried about is she says she hopes that it's someone that's the next owner's gonna be someone who loves and respects it, and not some crazy super fan who jerks off onto it or into it every day. To which the Underground said, if I'm buying your car for $21,000, I'll do what I want.
Exactly. I'll rent it out for people to do that in it.
Right? Like you said, Tommy Lee it and drive it down the Sunset Strip.
Yeah. I would totally Tommy Lee it. I would have to get a booster chair and some other things, but still,
right?
I would attempt to Tommy
I would make it happen.
Popsicle sticks and
something.
duct tape.
No duct tape. No.
No
duct tape.
Sure?
Seems dangerous. Sara McMann, we talked about last week, was calling out the entire division of women fighters.
She just wanted to fight.
Just trying to find somebody to fight. She did get a fight. She's going to be fighting Amanda Nunes at Nashville, Tennessee, August 8th. That card is headlined between OSP over in St. Peru and Glover Texera. Let's see. Sara McMann is rated at, she's number 4. She will be fighting. Amanda Nunes is number 8, so that's not bad.
No, it's not
top
bad
10
at all.
fighter.
And then that's what she had hoped too. She said she would fight anybody, but remember she'd preferred anybody in the top 10.
Yes.
I just want to know if Nunes, because I believe Nunes got back to her on Twitter. So this Twitter thing is actually working for
It
fighters.
works for fighters, man. I think
it's the new hookup.
I'm upset that no one's using our Fighter Seeking Fights website that Joey allegedly set up.
I think it was, but the only thing we got is two fat midgets, and I don't think they're really fighting.
They're not really fighting?
Yeah.
There's nothing going on?
Yeah.
I think I saw that at the Oakdale Rodeo once. Bellator Mike Richmond not only missed his weight for his most recent fight and had to sit on the bench, he also failed his PED test and tested positive for anabolic steroids. He is now going to be given a 2-year ban for the performance-enhancing drug, as well as a $2,500 fine. He does have the right to appeal, however, so far, not looking good for Mr. Richmond.
No, I don't see the validity of any appeal.
Yeah, he went on to, I believe it was his Facebook, and even said he takes 100% responsibility. It says the punishment is deserving. So, good for him.
You got to ask the
coming
question.
forward and saying he was honest about it.
You got to ask the question. Do you really think you're going to get away with it anymore?
With everything that's been going on, especially with all the commissions and you got the UFC obviously putting in their big drug policy now, going with the Olympic testing and things like that. I mean,
if they couldn't hide Silva's results, they're never going to hide anybody else's results.
It's true. It's very true. Speaking of Anderson Silva, he is now on his 3rd continuance from the Vast State Athletic Commission after his failed drug test. He is now going to have till August 7th to put together a defense for the multiple allegations of performance-enhancing drugs due to his test back at UFC 183 that was in January. So now he's getting a 3rd pass, a 3rd time to delay his defense.
I'm looking at my crystal ball, and you know who's going to get their 3rd now, too?
Diaz?
I bet.
Think Diaz is going to get his?
Yeah, because his response is going to be, we gave Silva a little more time.
Right? Got to give me a little bit more time.
Right.
In fact, now Anderson Silva's manager is saying that he will not represent Taekwondo for Brazil in the Olympics. He's not even going to be trying out. He's not going to participate. He's not going to try out. He does train. He is training while he is waiting for his continuance to happen. The head of the Brazilian Olympic Taekwondo Federation is very upset with this, saying that they have not received any communication from Anderson Silva. We did hear it from his manager. We don't know what's going on. He has not. We've emailed him multiple times. He has not responded. I think his manager committed a mistake about this. He didn't communicate the cancellation to us directly. It was just something he said to the news, and which got back to us.
Yeah, that's
They're
bad.
saying
that's bad business.
Yeah, they don't want to be the ambassador for Brazilian Taekwondo anymore.
Well, I don't think any of us took the whole Olympic thing seriously anyway. Because, again, like we had said, if you're going to be in the Olympics, you would have done it from youth.
Right.
Very few guys do something else and jump into the Olympics
Come back,
at the end.
jump back in the Olympics.
Unless it's curling.
Yeah.
Anybody
can do curling.
Well, I'm not even going to go there.
No?
I don't want no curling people knocking on the door with a stick and a broom. And,
and the stone.
Especially the stone.
What's more of a sport to you, curling or golf?
Oh, I don't want to offend anybody.
Curling, golf, or NASCAR?
Oh, curling and golf are more sport than NASCAR.
What about bowling? We're going to throw that in there as well?
Bowling is a true sport.
Is it bowling or curling? They're very similar. One, you get to chase the ball.
I'll give them a draw. Because both you can do drunk. Because both of them you can do drunk, I hear.
Both of them are more of a sport than NASCAR, though.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Very upset people going to be listening to the show.
I'm not worried about NASCAR being upset because they can't use navigational equipment.
Donald Cerrone, most active lightweight on the roster, for sure. We've talked about this multiple times. He recently said, I woke up this morning thinking I'm not really a sit-around until December type of guy. He wanted another fight. His coach, Greg Jackson, said, I will handcuff him to a chair if I have to. He asked the UFC, and the UFC said no. He did ask for a fight, but they told him no. You're going to wait for your title shot against Dos Anjos.
And truthfully, I think he needs it. He needs this weight because nobody knows where this guy Dos Anjos is coming with next.
Is he going to jump on a bull, though, or go skydiving with skis on in the desert? Like, is he going to try to invent some new sport in the meantime? Because he's getting bored.
Well, what's going to kill me is if 2 weeks before the fight he's out with a bee sting or something.
Slips on a beer can.
Something.
Peter Aerts has decided to retire. He has been kickboxing since 1985 when he started at 15. At 19, he was the International Kickboxing Federation's heavyweight champion. 30 years later, he's officially retired. He did fight in 2014. Just not done quite well since then. However, this is the guy who has been in K1 for a long time. Fought some of the best. He is officially retiring of 105, 34, and 2.
That's a lot of contact.
He had 2 bouts in mixed martial arts, winning 1, losing 1 back in 2005. 3-time kickboxing K1 Grand Prix champion. Peter decides to retire today. Good for him, man. Good career.
How many hematomas and bruises has he gone through?
If you haven't seen this guy yet, check him out on YouTube. You can find the best of some of his knockouts. He's brutal. He's known for his axe kick. It's pretty brutal, man. And there's
I miss the axe kicks.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. Using that heel. Jessica Aguilar finally signed with the UFC. You know, I was going to mention this last week, how she asked for her release for World Series of Fighting, and now she's just waiting. Just waiting. She's like, I want to fight in the UFC, but still hadn't got picked up. And then lo and behold, like the day I was like, man, we got to talk about Jessica Aguilar. She got picked up.
Right.
She finally got signed to the UFC. Her first fight is going to be against Claudia Gadelha. Good for her. That's a big fight, big jump. I mean, going for World Series of Fighting where she was the champion, she's now going to be taking on the number 2 ranked strawweight fighter in the UFC. Obviously with Joanna Jędrzejczyk as
so
your
she
champion.
So if she
taking on
wins
number
this,
3, Jessica Pena. I think
you put that in top 5.
Oh yeah, she immediately takes Claudia's spot, man. She gets put at number 2. If she wins that fight, she's put at number 2. You bump Claudia down to number 5.
Well, I'm just looking at. I mean.
Number 3 is going to be fighting.
Tisha's going to have her chance this weekend. We're going to see what she's going to do.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to... How do you bump Randa, Paige, Calderwood? Felice, I don't even know what she's doing in the top 10.
She's at 10.
I don't know.
I would drop her right in there because she is a former champion. She has defended her belt. Obviously, she didn't have the best competition, but she was doing the best she could for what she had. But I say she get bumped into that number 2 spot, and then she has a rematch with Carla Esparza. Winner of that bout gets a title shot.
I just think there's more competition in Invicta than there was in World Series of Fighting.
Well, for sure, they took the top 15 girls.
Right.
I mean, they talk about that. And some of the girls that were good for ratings, but, you know.
Right. Like number 10.
I mean, things happen, man. Things happen. Speaking of Invicta 13 will be going down on July 9th. We're going to have 3 title fights for this. I'm pretty excited for that. You got your champion, Cyborg Justino, 13-1, going against Faith Van Dune, who's 5-1. Tanya Evinger going for the vacant bantamweight championship against Irene Aldana, as well as atomweight championship, Herika Tabricio defending her belt up against Akia Hamasaki. As well as you could see Marina Schaefer, who's Ronda Rousey's good friend and training partner for a long time, part of the 4 Horsewomen, have her 3rd bout in mixed martial arts. She is 1-1 right now, going against Amber Levick.
And this is the important fight for Cyborg because she has to make the 135, right?
Got to make... This is featherweight. This is the first time... No. She just has to defend it here. Then she gets to move to 135. She has to defend her belt first.
Okay.
So defends her belt, then she'll make the drop down there.
And on that note, she seems really positive.
She does seem very positive.
Because the last 6 months she said she didn't know. She was asking for a catchweight fight.
Yep.
And then recently she's come out and she says, I got it.
Yep.
I got the 135 in the bag.
So this is pretty cool. I mean, this is going to be going down during International Fight Week in Vegas. This is fights all week long and good stuff going on. This is going to be, again, in July the 9th. You're also going to have UFC 189 July 12th. So keep an eye on it. You can catch this
Who's fighting on that one? I haven't heard much about that one.
You can catch this one on Fight Pass, which is pretty cool. The whole card is going to be on Fight Pass. Check that out if you are into some of the more fights. You got Uriah Hall is looking. He just came back from that loss back in May. He's looking to get back into the mix. He was supposed to have a card at UFC Berlin against Krzysztof Jotko. However, he is unable to get a visa, and he will be pulled from that bout. We don't know if there's a replacement yet for Jotko. We will find out altogether soon. Again, that's going to be going down in Berlin, UFC 69, Fight Night 69, June 20th.
Yeah, that's next weekend.
Yeah, it's coming up quick, man.
It'd be hard to get someone to jump in on that.
And then, what else we got going on? Oh, yeah, little snafu down in Brazil with some drug testing. They sent the Nevada State Athletic Commission down to test
Jose Aldo.
Jose Aldo. He was supposed to be tested. However, something was going on. We had the CAMBA, the commission for the Brazilian Athletic Commission, came down and basically said that
the guy collecting the urine.
The guy that was collecting the urine. See, I'm trying to find his name here. Mr. Moser. Mr. Moser was coming down. Was working on behest of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. However, he was not licensed to work in Brazil and was fined $130.
And given 8 days
to get his ass out of Brazil. So he went down on like a vacation visa instead of a work visa.
Yep.
And was doing work. So
I think that they were just more upset that he didn't check in with them.
CAB, MMA, CAMBA decided that, we're going to call the FBI and the Brazilian Federal Police, and we're going to pull this guy out of here because he's not here legally to do work. Jose Aldo said, doesn't matter to me. I'll take the test the next day, which apparently he's going to.
Yeah, he took it today.
He took it today.
Yeah. And it's already on its way to Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City will be testing his urine.
But the first test they had to throw away. And Conor McGregor's having a field day with this, right?
Oh, yeah. He called Aldo a weasel. Called Aldo's trainer a weasel. What's that sound like? Oh, you're a weasel.
Do they have weasels in Ireland?
I don't know. We had the weasel, remember, in the 80s? Don't touch the weasel.
Pauly Shore. That's what it is. He's calling him Pauly Shore. Makes sense. So moving into going closer to UFC 188, which is going down this weekend. Have you been watching the embedded episodes?
Yeah, I've been as much as I can catch them.
Catching them on YouTube. They're pretty. I love this series.
Yeah,
man.
there's some lulls though.
There are some lulls. There's some things that are like, I don't care about you walking in a hot tub. Yeah. I mean, Tisha Torres I like seeing in the hot tub.
Right.
But Junior Dos Santos running on a treadmill, watching Tisha Torres run on in a hot tub, and then saying, "I'm excited to fight either guy." I don't care.
I really don't.
I don't. And Cain Velasquez, Fabricio Werdum walking around his villa, his little thing. This is where I sleep. This is where these guys sleep. This is where we train. This is our place. Like, do something, man.
Yeah, we see that all the time.
You need to pay up. Like, you need to get some Cerrone fun and be like, yeah, let's go dirt biking. Hey, embedded, you're paying for this. Like, I want to see some stuff like that.
Exactly.
Or a lot of training. I want to see some training. Anyway, Cain Velasquez is not happy with what Fabricio Werdum, who speaks very good Spanish, by the way, for saying some things that he said. He said, I get lots of messages from Mexican fans on social networks. I'm really happy for them. I've been to Mexico over 20 times, and actually, I feel more Mexican than Cain. I feel that Cain's injury was a strategy. He had injury, but it wasn't urgent. He didn't need to stop, and now we can see who the true champion is because he hasn't fought in 2 years. I'm still here. I beat him. I'm here to beat him. He just didn't show up. I feel like the champion will be determined on June 13th, and it will only be me. He's also recently said that he doesn't believe Cain is a real Mexican. His parents are, but he's an American. He's not a Mexican.
This brown on brown stuff happens all the time.
But Werdum, like DC said, you probably shouldn't have said anything because Cain Velasquez is a man of few words.
Right.
And now you've upset him. He is not happy with what you've said. He said it goes in one ear and out the other, but you could tell it's bothered him. He said, I am for sure Mexican. Mexican blood runs through my veins. Both my parents are here. They went to America to give me a better life, a better opportunity.
He has brown pride on
his
chest.
Tattooed across his... Do you mess with a guy that has brown pride tattooed across his chest and call him... What? By calling him not a Mexican? Like, just doesn't seem like a good idea.
The only thing worse, I think, would be to call him a coconut. Brown on the outside, white in the middle.
Yeah, so we'll see how that all turns out for him. Let's go over The Ultimate Fighter since we missed last week. And then we'll jump into this week's episode of The Ultimate Fighter. Starting with, so Black Zillions, man, taking it back.
Oh, yeah.
Taking it right back and just kind of just running it in. They are now, and then going into this week's episode, what did they do? They finally threw back in Hader Hassan, who is the only guy to win for a American Top Team. Throw him back in the mix to hopefully get another win, and he did.
Right.
Majority decision, though. How'd you feel about the decision?
I mean, it's like every other decision, you know?
I thought Felipe Portela did enough. However, watching it, I was kind of yelling at him that you can't just let... I understand Hader's not actually hurting you, but you can't... This is the same thing that gets Nick Diaz in trouble, and Nate Diaz...
It's a control thing.
It's a control thing. You can't just take the shot, smile at him, and hit him back with one.
Right.
He's scoring points every time he lands on you. Right. Every time. Right. So just covering up and smiling at him because he's not knocking you out does not do you any good. Now, he did. I think he struck him definitely in the first round. The guy who gave it the draw, I would the 1919. I more agree with that guy than the guys that gave him 2018.
Right. I even
two rounds. You gave 2 rounds to Hader, really?
Yeah, and even 20. I don't know.
Both of the judges 2018. So they gave both rounds to Hader and 1 round to Hassan, or excuse me, to Felipe. I don't know if I agree with that, man. Actually, no, that's 3. That's 3 rounds, right? No, 2 rounds.
2 rounds.
Okay,
3 judges, 2 rounds.
Yeah, 3 judges, 2 rounds. The guy that gave 1919, that's more. I would like to see another. It should have went to another round, in my opinion. It only went 2 rounds, and it should have went to.
So how does that work? How do they get the 3rd round in there?
If everybody scores at a draw, or if it's 2 split.
Okay.
So yeah, now we're sitting at American Top Team, which they're going to have the home gym advantage, taking it back to American Top Team. They've only been there once.
Right.
It is now 100 to 200. All of the 50-point fights and all of the 25-point fights are gone. We only have 100 We have 4 fights left in the season.
And this is the score as of yesterday?
As of yesterday, it is 100-200.
Okay.
Okay? So the only way American Top Team has a chance, they have to win a minimum of 2 fights. Right?
Right. And if they lose one more, they're out.
They're done.
They're out mathematically.
Mathematically, they're out. They can still fight.
Because you never know. Dana will come in. Hey, this one's 500 points.
This one's 1,000. This is winner take all. Like, who
double or
we
nothing?
Scrapped all the points. It was fun to watch, get you guys motivated, but it didn't work, so we're scrapping it.
Right.
100 points each, yeah. So if Black Zillions win, that'll put them up to 300. And no, that would give them a tie. So yeah, so whoever wins the next 2 fights, that's it. If they each split it, it's going to be a tie.
And then what do? They just split the money for each gym?
Maybe that's why there's none in the season. Speculation, man. You never know. UFC Fight Night 68 went down from the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Did you get a chance to watch this card?
Oh, yes.
I was excited. I was very happy about this card.
I was surprised and, again, picked horribly.
Yeah, poor Joey. Joey can't bet on fights. He's not allowed to bet on fights, actual money.
I don't think it was any good that we told him, no, you look good, man.
He had solid picks.
We thought.
I thought he had solid picks.
What'd you do for picks? Do you know your number?
Let's see. I can look at it. I took 1, 2, lost that one. That's bullshit, though, but I still lost it. I took that one. All right, that was good. I took that one. Lost that one. Lost that one. I took that one. 6. Yeah, not bad.
Even?
Almost even, yeah.
Almost even?
Just about even. Yeah. Okay, starting off there at the bottom. Jose Quinones
against Leonardo Morales.
Submission, rear naked choke in the first round. I didn't get a chance to see this one. This was on Fight Pass. I was at work. Good fight?
Yeah, it was you could see him he set up for the rear naked a couple times and then it was in.
All right. Jake Collier over Ricardo Abreu. Split decision.
Yeah, it could have easily been a draw too.
If you're playing the split decision drinking game, you should have taken a drink. And actually, I think you finish your drink if there's a split decision. We got to post those rules again.
We should. Now that we actually have listeners.
Yeah. That'd be great. See how many people get jacked. All right, Joe Proctor over Justin Edwards, guillotine choke. That was pretty wicked there. Chris Wade over Christios Giagos, decision, unanimous.
Let's go back to that Proctor fight. Did you see how gassed they were?
Oh, yeah. They were just throwing it all right at the beginning.
Does anybody not train for 5 rounds anymore? I mean, there's only went 3, but
2 seconds left.
Yeah,
bro. 2 seconds left.
I know.
So yeah, he was gassed. He's like, I got 2 seconds. I just want to finish the goddamn fight. Omari Akhmedov, man, over Brian Ebersol. The Harrow goes down with a knee injury in between rounds. He got kicked a lot in that knee, and it swelled up pretty good.
Yeah, and it takes a big guy to tell people, hey.
Well, first of all, he didn't show it.
Right.
At all. He was just like, yeah, whatever. I just keep straight face, and then between rounds, he's like, okay, I got to stop. It's broken. I'm pretty sure it's bad. Like you said, takes a big guy to say, I'm done.
Any one of us would have just sat on the stool and cried.
Yeah. Brian Ebersol also retires. He says it's time to take new role in this sporting industry, one more suited for my age. He retires at 34 with a record of 51-17-1. Big up to the Harrow, man. 15 years in the cage. Big wins over Chris Lido, Carlos Newton, Dennis Hallman. He is done fighting. He says he will definitely be doing coaching for a long time to come. Everything hurts. I'm old.
Oh yeah, because
lifetime of wrestling. getting your head pulled, knees banged up. I'm going to leave it to the younger guys.
Yeah, 51-17, people will line up down the street to learn from you.
Yeah. So hopefully he keeps the Harrow, though. I mean, I know he did that for fights, but I think that should become a logo somehow.
He probably will work it in.
I mean, I know Middle Easy back in the day actually had a Harrow t-shirt.
Oh, really?
It was a white t-shirt that looked like it had hair, like the Brian Ebersol Harrow.
You know, because now that he gets away from fighting and into coaching, it'll all be about his brand.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting.
Like Dwayne Bang. Dude, I see Dwayne Bang everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sean Jordan over Derek Lewis with a fucking hook kick, man. Heavyweights throw a heavyweight that looks like Sean Jordan to begin with. I'm sorry, but that's a big man.
Right. And like I tweeted back,
throws a hook kick,
and like I text back with what seemed to be laser precision,
a hook kick. Oh man. And just dropped him 40.
And it wasn't even fast.
No, it was like, here it comes. There he goes. He landed it, and he's going down. 48 seconds of round number 2. Sean Jordan over Derek Lewis with a hook kick followed up by punches.
This next one makes me sad.
Man, that was a fight. Man. Francisco Rivera and Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy on your main card. Bruce Leroy gets knocked the fuck out at 21 seconds of the first round. Didn't even know what happened.
Dude, the whole living room laughed so hard because
Except
the afro took 2 seconds to catch up to the knockout. He gets knocked out, and then the hair caught up to him. Yeah, it was bad.
Bruce Leroy getting knocked out. 21 seconds, man. I said Francisco Rivera. I didn't think it was going to be that quick, but I said he was definitely going to take the fight. Yeah. Good for Francisco Rivera. Bruce Leroy, where does he go from here?
They'll give him a couple more fights.
I mean, he's one of these guys who seems like he's very hit and miss. You know, I mean, he puts it together and then he loses. He's now on a 3-fight losing skid.
Frank Mir went on 4.
This is true. This is true. He was at the time technically on a 4-fight winning, although with 1 failed drug test when he tested positive for marijuana. He originally had a win. He was on a 5-fight streak. That was back in 2013. However, lost to Uriah Faber, lost to Masanori Kanhera, and now to Francisco Rivera. Give him one more, or do you think he's done?
Give him one more.
You're going to give him one more? Give Bruce Leroy a little more?
Yeah.
All right. Anthony Burchak over Joe Soto, man. I didn't see this coming. I thought Joe Soto was going to be able to grind him out. Also gets knocked out in the first round, minute 37. Burchak looked like a beast.
Yeah, and again, it's just one of those things where
just overwhelmed
Soto took some chances and it didn't pay off.
Didn't pay off at all. Brian Ortega over Thiago Tavares, another one I just did not see coming, man. I thought Tavares was hanging in there all right. Ends up getting knocked out, TKO'd in the third. 4:10 is your official time. Brian Ortega making some waves, man. I'm excited to see where this guy goes. Thiago Tavares, I don't know what to do with him now.
Ortega generates a lot of power in a short distance.
Yeah, and he is now 9-0, undefeated, making his way to the UFC. This is now his second fight that he has won. Brian Ortega, I think he's got a good career ahead of him. With Thiago Tavares, I don't know. He was coming off 2 wins, now going back on a loss. I think he's still got a little ways to go though.
Yeah,
he's gonna be sticking around for quite some time as well. Moving in, Dustin the Diamond Poirier over Yancy Medeiros. Body kick and punches of round 1. I was excited for this fight, and
Dustin was all about it.
You
could just see he came in mean
for sure.
It was a lot quick.
Yeah,
everything.
Poirier looked like a beast, man. I think this is his new weight. I think he's going to stick around. I'm excited.
It might work out for him.
I'm excited.
I'm glad to see that we're seeing that now. That guys aren't afraid to go change weights, and that their decision to change weight isn't a bad thing for them.
Yeah,
you know, and not some of these people are going to change weight and then just get destroyed.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, Poirier's looking pretty good. Heavyweight fight up for your co-main event. Big Ben Rothwell going up against Matt Meathead Metrione. Gets him with the guillotine. 154 of the first round.
Didn't they call it a go-go choke?
I don't think it was Gogo Plata. Did they call it a go-go choke?
Yeah.
Or a Bravo choke, maybe?
No, they called it a go-go choke.
It was definitely a guillotine.
Yeah.
I mean, he locked it up. He may have twisted it a little to the side, but he locked it up pretty well.
Okay.
And good for Big Ben. And then everyone's making waves about Big Ben's post-fight speech. I don't think it was that bizarre. This was on the Underground earlier today. They said, bizarre what the fuck speech. All he said was, "I guess you got to make some noise. I got people to pay attention. You say inspiration. I think a lot of it comes from the writers in MMA. Constantly, I feel like I'm getting overlooked and I'm not getting any respect. Again, I was the underdog tonight on the writers' column. Everybody picked Metrione. I'm getting used to it. I like it. Keep making me the underdog. Keep doing it. I like putting a loss on your picks there. I guess keep being the underdog in my next fights, and that's fine with me because, as you can see, it doesn't make a difference." Do you think it's that weird?
And again, I don't know if this is the thing that everybody's calling weird, or in the ring when he said that he's been held back and that he'll fight through the politics and red tape, and then did that evil laugh where he goes, and then did like an arm splatter to the air, you know.
Third straight win, though. Big
this was very decisive.
Yeah, I mean, I like Big Ben. I'm interested to see where he goes up from here. We can check out the rankings here real quick.
Because he even said that he's a better fighter than even he thought he was. He's at a level now that he didn't think he would get to.
Ben Rothwell now moves up to number 8 in the rankings. Anybody there you'd like to see him fight? He wants a rematch with Andrei Arlovski. I like that.
I don't know.
Give him the Andre fight.
Stipe.
You want to see him fight Stipe?
Yeah.
I could go for that.
Yeah. Especially as what we've seen from the last 2 fights of Stipe.
I want to message Stipe right now because he's a Cavs fan. Golden State fan, obviously, here. Yeah, I think a Stipe fight would be good. Like I said, I'd like to see him avenge his loss against Andrei Arlovski. Again, that was something that happened back at Affliction 2008. That'd be a good kind of something he wants to wipe clean from his record. Good old Ben Rothwell. And then we move over to your main event. Dan Henderson turning back the hands of time, knocking out Tim Boetsch at 28 seconds.
Yeah, and again, this is exactly what we said, that these fights really didn't mean much unless they were big finishes and fast. And Ben's was a big finish, semi-quick. Dan's was fast.
Fast. Still shows he still got it.
I don't
he didn't even need to shuffle. Didn't even need to shuffle. He just threw that right.
And Boetsch pulled the Liddell.
Yeah.
What happened?
What
happened? Why?
What? Are we going to start the round? Why are you talking to me? Tim Kennedy calls out Dan Henderson, says, "Congratulations on your win. Enjoy your rest. Let's talk Dana White about doing a fight for the Troops card and putting on a show." Last time the UFC did one of those was UFC Fight Night 31 back in November of 2013, where Tim Kennedy was the main event against Rafael Natal. Dan Henderson was not ranked at the time. However, Tim Boetsch was. Tim Boetsch was number 13. So does Dan Henderson jump into Tim Boetsch's spot? Would you give him that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he gets in at number 13. Tim Kennedy is sitting at number 8. I think that would be a pretty sweet fight. I mean, people are saying they want to see him fight Michael Bisping, who's number 10. They want to see Dan Henderson against Michael Bisping again. Do you want to see that?
No.
Dan Henderson doesn't want to see that.
No.
He says he's saying, that I already knocked him out. I don't need to prove anything. I'm not going for a title. He's trying to go for a title. I don't care. I did my job. I would like to see him fight Tim Kennedy just because of the whole, calling him out. I think this could be an interesting fight. And a fight for the Troops I think is awesome. Although, would you want to put 2 of your American heroes? I mean, Henderson.
Don't put Tim Kennedy as an American hero.
Dude, why not?
Do you really think so? He's kind of a whiner.
Military background, man.
I know, but he's kind of a whiner.
Military background.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. I love you, Tim. I do. But there's just some stuff that you've been whining about.
You just don't like it because he's a whiner?
Yeah. And while we're talking about these 2 guys anyway, we gotta give congratulations to Hendo. He had an impromptu wedding.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I think
party at his house.
I think we found his... he doesn't need TRT. He just hooks up with that wife of his.
Yeah. Because it was his girlfriend, and now his wife.
She's putting some youth back into him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't
need TRT. Little lead in the pencil there,
Yeah, he doesn't need TRT. He just needs her. He just keeps it going, man. But, I mean, you're really going to say that Mr. Tim Kennedy, who was, a sniper...
Okay, I guess I'm going to have to fold if we're going to bring up his military record.
He was a ranger.
Yeah, he's a true G.I. Joe. I'll give you that.
He's not an American hero?
Hey, just remember, Jesse Ventura was an American hero for a little while. And now he's off his rocker. So
now he's a little crazy.
Yeah, he's a whole lot of crazy. He's about 3 truckloads of crazy.
All right, well, moving into this weekend, UFC 188 coming from Mexico City, Mexico. We have a pretty interesting card. I'm excited for the main card, I think. At least the top 3 fights. The rest of the card, there's a couple fighters I'm interested in watching. I mean, obviously it's MMA, and we do this show here. I will be watching every single moment of it. But the fights that I'm excited about are probably the same ones everybody else is. However, we do have an announcement. Andrew Todd Hunter has not been medically cleared to fight. He was cutting weight today, and he passed out during his weight cut. He has been pulled from the bout.
They got to they have to stay that way because of what happened to Barao.
A lot of things, yeah. So he's not going to be allowed to fight. However, as far as I know, and as far as I remember, his opponent, Albert Tumanov, does have to make weight to make sure that he gets his show money. Because if he doesn't do it, he doesn't get his money either. But as long as he makes weight, even though his opponent has failed, he would get his show money.
It's a nice little
bonus, right?
Yeah.
Nice little bonus. All right, so starting off on Fight Pass, you have Gabriel Benitez going up against Clay Collard. Augusto Montano going up against Catherine Pendred. Again, that's going down on Fight Pass. Starting off...
Watch for Pendred.
Yeah, I like Pendred a lot.
Yeah.
I like Pendred a lot. Prelims on FX.
What is that?
I think there's stuff going on like women's soccer World Cup on Fox Sports 1.
Really? That takes precedent to MMA?
It's World Cup, man. Shh. Women's World Cup.
Next thing they'll be voting.
Francisco Trevino going up against Johnny Case.
You can't highlight either one of them.
No, Johnny Case can.
Can you?
Look, you can click that man.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you could click him.
You can click him.
I've never heard of. I've never seen Johnny Case.
Johnny Case, man, is on 20-4 right now. He is on an impressive 8-fight winning streak.
What is MCC?
MCC. See, he fought a lot in Iowa.
Okay, because I know RFA.
Yep.
I got that.
Yeah, he fought a lot in Iowa, and now he's fighting the UFC. He worked his way up.
So I'm wondering if MCC is like our Chicken Ranch.
Yeah, similar.
Similar,
yeah.
All right.
He is on a 2-fight winning streak. He looked pretty impressive on that McGregor Silver card where he TKO'd Frankie Perez. I did not think that was going to happen, but now we'll see what happens with Johnny Case going against Trevino. Alejandro Perez going up against Patrick Williams. Efron Escudero going up against Drew Dober.
Escudero.
Yep. Chico Camus against Henry Cejudo. I got to take Cejudo. He's going to out-wrestle and use that Olympic gold.
It's Cejudo.
Cejudo? Oh. Is that how Werdum says it, or is that just how everybody's supposed to say it?
I believe that's how everybody says it.
Because I know he's training.
I know nobody says Cejudo.
I know he's training with Werdum down in Mexico. So
yeah.
Tisa Torres starting off your main card going against Angela Hill.
I need to look up. Okay, I knew that Angela Hill sounded familiar, but I believe Angela Hill is in one of the fighter forums.
She does post quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And she doesn't have a very big record. She was in the Ultimate Fighter. I think she's only 2-0, 3-0.
She's a redhead, right? I believe.
No.
No.
Okay.
Because I was reading it earlier and I was like,
she was at the bottom of the heap of the Ultimate Fighter. She was going in. She had to fight Carla her first fight. She was the ranked number 16. Had to go up and get to fight Carla, number 1 seed.
And Tisha is the one that everybody says because she's so short and so thick that she's on something.
She has to be on something.
She has to be on something.
Yair Rodriguez going up against Charles Rosa. And then moving into your Coco main event. Coco main event. You're going to have Kevin Gastelum against Nate Marquardt at middleweight. Now, remember, both these guys went down to welterweight. In fact, Kevin Gastelum says, I could be a mediocre middleweight or I could be a champion at welterweight. He did fail his last weight cut down at welterweight. So Dana White immediately placed him back in the middleweight division. Even though he failed that weight, he still fought Tyson Woodley and lost the decision. And that's when Dana White said, you're going back.
Instead of saying champion, people, because I have to tell you, this whole week's been full of people saying that they are champion status.
Yeah.
Just say you're number 1 contender status. Could you do that?
They believe they're champions.
No, I understand that. But let's set attainable goals.
Oh, How about, I think he just needs to go back with Dolce, because Dolce made him get to weight every time. When he hasn't been with Dolce, he hasn't made weight.
Dolce made BJ lose, remember?
He made BJ make weight. I think Kevin Gastelum's going to take this fight. I like Nate Marquardt. He's been around for a long time. You can never count him out completely. However, I think his chin has gotten the best of him in the many years that he's been fighting, and I just think Gastelum's going to be the younger, faster, fresher fighter.
This is a crossroad for Marquardt.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely going to be the crossroad, and this is going to help him decide what he does next.
Yeah, but I definitely will be taking Kevin Gastelum in this fight. A big fight that everyone's been talking about for the past, 5 years. Gilbert Melendez will finally fight Eddie Alvarez. Both these guys have been champions in other organizations. Gilbert Melendez was over in Strikeforce for a long time as the champion, whereas Eddie Alvarez was the Bellator champion and Dream champion for a long time. They have been talking shit to each other for the past 5 years over various things in social media. They've hinted and teased and talked about doing co-promotion so they could unite the belts and find out who the true lightweight champion was. Now they're both in the UFC without a belt. Now we're going to see how well they do against each other. I like this fight. This could be fight of the night.
Yeah, and when you hear Alvarez say that Gilbert Melendez is the head football player, what is it, the head cheerleader?
Hair-led cheater, sucking off the quarterback which is the champion.
That was said on our show first, before anybody else. So when you hear it, just know that it was said on our show first.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this fight. I, however, do think Gilbert Melendez has more tools than Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez is a violent fighter. He is a stand-up war type of guy. He loves to throw strikes. However, he was a wrestler first. A lot of people forget that. But he is kind of shied away from his wrestling. Now, he uses it defensively, but he does not use it offensively anymore. He stands up to bang. Gilbert Melendez uses all the tools all the time.
And both these guys are coming off lackluster fights.
Yes. I'm interested to see where this goes. I think this could be fight of the night. However, I will be taking El Nino. I will be taking Gilbert Melendez. I do like Eddie Alvarez and would like to see him take this win, especially for all the trash talk. I always thought, he had it. But now seeing some of the competition that they've had to go up against lately, I'm just going to have to take Gilbert Melendez. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm going Gil.
Gil?
I got to go with the local homeboy.
All right.
He trains with all our local boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Champion versus champion, your main events. You have Cain Velasquez, your actual heavyweight champion, and Fabricio Werdum, your interim heavyweight champion, are finally going to unite the belts because there can only be one champion.
This is like, what is that? The Highlander. Someone's going to have to cut off somebody's head.
One. Yes, look, there can only be one. Cain Velasquez, we know what he does, man. He's got heavy, heavy hands. He is a pressure fighter, true and true. He will come forward nonstop, and if he gets you in the clinch and against the cage, you are fucked.
Yeah.
He loves that position. He will just throw knees and punches and drag it down when he needs to. But Fabricio Werdum has come a long way in his career. As a guy who started out as just a pure jiu-jitsu guy, he has become a three-dimensional fighter. He does have wrestling, not as good as Cain's.
Right.
But he does have wrestling, but he does have striking now. And he has really good striking. Now, I don't think as heavy as Cain's, but he's putting together some pretty good combos and putting together,
right, and
the flying knee that took out Mark Hunt just shocked everybody.
Right, and we were talking about it earlier this week with a couple of people about how much abuse he took in the Hunt fight, and how he was actually, a lot of people seen him as losing that fight.
I did
until the kick,
until he got the knee and the kick, and just threw it all together, man. He is now riding a 5-fight winning streak, wins over Roy Nelson, Mark Russo, Big Nog, Travis Brown, and Mark Hunt. And remember, this is the guy who tapped out Nogueira. This is the guy who tapped out Fedor.
Yeah.
He's had big fights. He's beat Bigfoot Silva. He lost 2 decisions to Alistair. Excuse me, 1 decision to Alistair Overeem, which was pretty shitty fight.
He's a really big guy, not only tall, but just he's
a good sized guy.
He's a good sized guy.
But
wide.
Since his loss to Junior Dos Santos, when he got cut from the UFC, he's come back a man on a mission. I'm excited to see this fight. However, I still will be going with Cain Velasquez to get that belt. But Cain hasn't fought 2 years.
Right, and seeing that's my problem too, because we've seen leaps and bounds in every fight that Verdum's had. We've seen leaps and bounds in his growth. And then we got this guy who, legitimately hasn't grown in 2 years, right?
Let's see. He wins the belts back in, 2010. Immediately loses it. gets the win over Bigfoot, gets it back in 2012, fights Bigfoot again, fights Junior Dos Santos again, and then we haven't seen him since 2013.
Right.
I mean, he's a guy that's constantly injured.
Right. And I don't think this is going to be the sloppy slugfest that it was with Dos Santos.
No, not at all. I think that Werdum's a little smarter than that.
Yeah, and I think Werdum can take a little more abuse.
I think it's going to be
Velasquez
contested on the ground quite a bit, and I'm interested to see what happens. I will be taking Cain Velasquez though to win this fight.
You taking Cain?
Taking Cain.
I'm going Werdum.
You going Werdum?
Yeah, I liked his whole attitude this week. He's been nothing but a big jokester. The faces he's making.
He always makes that weird goofy smile
during weigh-ins and shit. I like
goofy
that
smile. And and I'm taking the Warriors over the Cavs.
You're taking Warriors over the Cavs.
Yep.
How many more games?
I think it's going to go all 7.
All 7?
I am a huge Warriors fan, and I would love them to take the next 2 games.
Tell
and
everybody
be done.
why you hope it goes 7.
Why do I hope it goes 7? Because it comes back home.
No, because it goes to the 19th, and it'll be
yeah, that's another reason, too. But first of all, Game 7 will be back here in Oakland.
Right.
It's coming back to California, and I would love to have a win in California. Big championship and everything. However, also scheduled for that same day as Game 7 is Kimbo versus Shamrock. And their ratings will be fucked.
It'll be bad.
If they have to go up against Game 7, Warriors versus Cavs. I mean, Curry and the Splash Brothers against LeBron.
Right.
For Game 7, for everything. For the Cleveland who's never had a championship, and for the Warriors who haven't had a championship in 40 years. There's going to be more. The viewership for these NBA Finals have jumped 30% more than last year, and 50% more in just the Cleveland area.
Right. And it would be the same if Cleveland made the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because it's not just somebody. Oh yeah, there they go. It's the same people again.
Yeah, no.
This is
If this game goes to Game 7, I'm sorry, Bellator, but you should move your fight.
All right,
but we'll see.
I think that wraps up the week. And again, check out our latest sponsor, Strongboard Balance, at strongboardbalance.com. Change the way you work out forever. Get on board at strongboardbalance.com. You want to hit them where they can tell us and find us? Obviously not. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at SD_MMA. You can also check us out at our website, splitdecisionmma.com. And we are also now on mymmanews.com for Dodge and Dennis and Joey, who's not here. We'll see you at the fights.
Yep.